In June 2019, I set out to write a poem a day and published a PDF book on my website featuring all of my poetic typewriter pieces. I was inspired by a seemingly unrelated creative writing course from my undergrad and the fascinating art of typing X's over text to correct a mistake. From this, I came out with Blackout Poetry on a typewriter. Blackout poetry is a form of erasure poetry. Erasure. Erasure is the art of building a smaller poem from a larger text. Blackout poetry is usually done with a thick Sharpie marker and done by blacking out all the text around specific words on a page, which when left creates some sort of poem or thought. Ethically, the idea is to black out 50% or more of the original page in order to craft something new. I decided to try this on my typewriter for a few pieces, and here's what I learned throughout the process. First of all, if you're not okay with taking apart a book, look away. I've gotten some flack for this, but in the case of this book and all the others I've taken pages from, the binding is starting to go, so pages are already falling out. I find a page that I like, and then I look for words on that page that immediately attract my eye. I don't read through the whole page, just look for words that stand out and try to connect them. I draw boxes around these words in pencil so that I can easily spot them while typing. Poetry is an art form, and I'm definitely not an artist. My poetry is terrible, but it's also terribly fun to do. I was under the time constraint of a camera battery, so I did my best to craft a poem on camera, and then constructed a few off-camera for tests. The first time I did this, I was using really brittle pages, so when I typed on them, they would break under the keys. So I started taping these pages to pieces of paper so that I could roll them through the platen easier and keep them from crumbling. Depending on the age of the page, you may be able to get away with not doing this step. Then I start typing X's over the text that I don't want. I usually use capital X's to cover more ground. I found that I much prefer doing these poems on my Underwood Model 6 because the platen doesn't click into spacing, and it lets me roll freely around to get in between those single-space lines. However, I learned that this was because I had a handy-dandy lever engaged on the side of my machine. Good to know. Not knowing what I had done, I went to write a poem on my portable for comparison, which I knew was clicked into typing into single-space lines, and found that I could use a switch to make it roll freely. Knowledge is power. This magical switch is called the line retainer, and by disengaging it, you can roll the page wherever you like, which is great for filling in half-line spaces, etc., etc. Once you have the line retainer disengaged, it's best to start by identifying your words and blocking around them so you don't accidentally type over them while blacking out the rest of the page. I went paragraph by paragraph and X'd around the words that I wanted to keep, and then went back in and filled in the rest. In some poems, I've identified words by putting red X's around them to make them stand out. Sometimes this works, and sometimes it doesn't, depends on what you like. And then once you're done with your poem, erase the pencil lines and you're good to go. Here's what a portable poem looks like. Here's what a manual standard typewriter poem looks like. I feel that you can cover up more with a heftier machine. Portables just don't seem to have that much weight to them, but I also think it depends on what you like to look at, the machines you have, and how many times you go back over it. These poems suck, but the process is definitely creative. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like to see more typewriter content, check out this YouTube channel. We also have an Instagram at just.my.typewriter, which you can follow to see what else we're up to. And I want to thank you for watching and remind you that you're just my typewriter.